I know a twink with OCD when I see one, and this time it's not in the mirror. Let's talk about superstition. Are you superstitious? Like, do you believe in spirits, luck? Do you follow tradition? We're taught that following tradition is the right thing to do. It honors our culture and ancestors, but at what point does it start to ruin your life? Meet Mizuki. He's Overwatch's newest support hero, and he might not look like it, but he is incredibly superstitious. Born under a bad omen, he is determined to free himself through any means. Through good luck charms, prayer, paper talismans, but nothing seems to work. It begs the question, in the pursuit of good luck, do we curse ourselves? Mizuki Koano was born in Fukuoka, Japan under a shadow of misfortune. As a baby, he was surrounded by unexplained tragedies, grandparents lost to unnatural causes, and a mother who drowned in a freak accident. His father, disturbed by their streak of bad luck, was convinced their bloodline was cursed. Each night, Mizuki was told tales of malevolent spirits that haunted their family as he was tucked into bed by his father. Are you wondering what kind of Japanese curses could haunt an entire family? Me too! The first one is Tatari, a curse exacted by an onryo, vengeful spirit. Notable examples include the three great onryo of Japan.
Do you think it would be blasphemous if I tier ranked the 3 most vengeful Japanese ghosts as a method to educate people on folklore? Okay, so in B tier we have Taira no Masakado,
An executed rebel samurai whose disembodied head caused a plague in Edo in the 1300s, and also a 1928 earthquake in Kanto, among other things. Number 2, Sugawara no Michizane, a politician, poet, and ambassador to China who was demoted and banished, so he caused drought and plague and ended the sons of the 60th Emperor of Japan and struck the Shishinden Imperial Palace a bunch of times with lightning, the usual. Number 3, Emperor Sutoku, whose story sounds a lot like gossip you would hear in a hair salon in Journal Square, New Jersey.
Sutoku was basically the fake son of the Emperor of Japan who ends up inheriting the throne and is then gaslit by his fake father into giving up that throne so his fake dad's real son can be emperor instead. He gives up that throne, dumbass, realizes, oh wait, I got tricked, starts a rebellion over being dumb enough to give up the throne, loses that rebellion, gets banished, and then lives out his days as a monk sending manuscripts to the imperial capital that never get accepted because the capital thinks he's trying to curse them. Which is fair, because imagine if someone you screwed over kept sending you poetry. That's weird, you're weird for that. After he died, the capital didn't honor his death, so he cursed Japan, obviously. Most importantly for Mizuki's story, Sutoku cursed the Emperor of Japan's family in a way, because not soon after, the Emperor's successor would pass away prematurely. 4 of the closest people around the Emperor passed away too. To lay the curse to rest, they put his body in a Kyoto shrine to finally return him back home. This shrine will be important, so remember it for later. Anyways, after these 3 stories, you get the point. The general folklore around onryo is that if someone dies with a grudge, they can haunt you and your family and your land for a very, very long time. These are the types of stories that Mizuki was probably being told as a kid. You want another cursed Japanese ghost story? Yeah, of course you do. Okay, so kotori bako, child stealing box. The gist is that kotori bako is a box with remains in it. You bury the box in a family's land or give it directly to someone, and it curses the area and bloodline for generations. Same deal as onryo, just in a cute little box. Yay! And the last notable one is Ushi no Tokimairi, Ox Hour Shrine Visit. Doesn't that sound so sweet? Yeah, so Ox Hour is actually 1 to 3 a.m., so this is more aptly described as Goblin Hour Shrine Visit. It's a technique where a scorned woman dresses in white, wears an upside-down furnace on her head, and then proceeds to nail a straw effigy, basically a voodoo doll, to a sacred tree with nails. Wherever the nails land on the effigy is where your target will suffer ailments. You do this for 7 days straight, and that villager is off the island of life, baby. Let's just say that. Wait, this is not a tutorial on how to curse someone. This is just a friendly reminder of how many ways you can get cursed in Japan. You could tick off one of the 3 important ghosts, tick off a ghost who hates you specifically, tick off a woman who nails your straw effigy to a tree at goblin hours, or tick off someone who buries a child in a box on your land to curse you for antiquity. Mizuki gets told all of these stories in gory details as a child by his unstable father. That's not okay. Being raised with these stories of curses and watching a trusted adult believe in them, Mizuki grows to believe in them as well. Again, all of Mizuki's family except him and his father are wiped out for unexplained reasons. The only explanation his father has is a curse, just like the ones I was talking about with the cursed emperors who are known for wiping out entire family lines if you got on their bad side. But constantly being terrified a spirit is wiping out your family, it's not good for your head. As his father's mental state worsened, he fled with Mizuki to Tokyo in a desperate attempt to escape the
curse. He plunged them into debt, taking out loans with the Hashimoto clan to pay for lucky charms, exorcists, and anything said to ward off misfortune. The Hashimoto clan dominate Overwatch's Tokyo prefecture with oppressive gang violence. Historically, Tokyo was ruled by a different criminal empire, the Shimada clan. If that name rings a bell, Genji and Hanzo were the heirs to the clan. However, Hanzo tried to assassinate Genji because he refused to lock in. Genji was rescued and turned into a cyborg by Overwatch, and then Genji and Overwatch team up to dismantle the Shimada clan and free Tokyo from criminal violence. But like any outside organization that tries to take down a criminal empire in a country they have no business being in, it did not end well. It created an obvious power vacuum, which was filled immediately by the Hashimoto clan. They eliminated Hanzo and Genji's father, took control of Kanezaka and Hanemura, and most importantly, the Hashimoto clan kidnaps Kiriko's father, Toshiro Yamagami, the bladesmith who forged Genji's sword, Hanzo's bow, and Kiriko's kunai. Toshiro also made one more weapon, but
that's a surprise tool that can help us later.
Toshiro Yamagami is capable of imbuing weapons with anima, animal spirit power. I don't know how the f this works, nobody does either. Anyways, the Hashimoto clan kidnap Toshiro because he's a giver and force him to make weapons for them instead. At the same time they're stealing Kiriko dad, they're also extorting Mizuki dad. This Mr. Kawano is drowning in debt from all the money spent paying for lucky charms and exorcists, all in vain to try and break his curse. But in a few months' time, Mr. Kawano died to unexplained causes, orphaning Mizuki. It's important to note we don't know why Mr. Kawano died, but there's two main possibilities. Mr. Kawano took his own life due to the constant obsession with the family curse, or he was killed by the Hashimoto clan because of his debt. Either way, the debt didn't just disappear. It was transferred to the now 9 years old, freshly orphaned Mizuki, also inheriting his father's obsession with the family curse. The next part of the story has a little bit of foreshadowing. Overwatch writes, quote, "One of the clan's elders took a keen interest in the boy, seeing potential where others saw burden. In a surprising show of mercy, the Hashimoto offered to forgive what Mizuki owed in exchange for his loyalty to the organization." This elder indenturing a 9-year-old biracial orphan boy with OCD does not seem like mercy to me, but I could totally see the Overwatch writers glazing an actual gang leader if she happened to be a playable character. See, her name is Shion, and all you need to know right now, Shion's the one who brought Mizuki into the Hashimoto in the first place. We'll talk more about her later. Mizuki decides to take the elder's offer, since resisting it could mean death via curse, same for what supposedly happened to his father. Apparently it's quote-unquote hard to indenture a 9-year-old for criminal work, clearly they haven't been to Queens, so Mizuki ends up staying behind at the Hashimoto stronghold for the remainder of his adolescence. Here he met Toshiro Yamagami, Kiriko's kidnapped father, who would soon become Mizuki's father figure as well. They would talk about all sorts of things, tea, weapons, gang violence, you know, just guys being dudes. Toshiro Yamagami, this positive figure in Mizuki's life, prevented him from becoming a terrible person like Doomfist or Domina or Benjamin. While Mizuki was having fun having a dad, Kiriko was having a less fun time not having a dad. So Kiriko decided to form the yokai, a group of Tokyo kids dressed up as traditional Japanese spirits. The yokai's ultimate goal is to defeat the Hashimoto clan and protect Kanezaka and Hanemura. Things like sinking Hashimoto party boats, stealing Hashimoto contraband, tagging Hashimoto turf, and ulting deaf children to throw axes at Hashimoto goons. Seeing the yokai become a growing inconvenience for the Hashimoto gang, they decided to task Mizuki, who is no longer a child and had instead become Child from Genshin Impact, to act as a spy for them. Specifically, he was tasked with infiltrating the yokai and becoming one of them, a covert double agent for the Hashimoto.
Look, I get that these Kanezaka punks are a problem, but they're also my age. Some younger even.
Mizuki was reluctant to start this mission since it potentially meant hurting innocent people, but if he refused this mission, he could invoke the wrath of the elders of the Hashimoto. More than that, he could potentially trigger his family curse. He didn't want to die to it like his family did, like his father did. Seeing Mizuki's inner conflict, Toshiro decided to give him a parting gift. Remember how I said Toshiro made 4 notable weapons? Kiriko's kunai, Genji's sword, Hanzo's bow, and finally, Mizuki's kusarigama, a chained sickle.
Curses can be broken, Mizuki. This is an anima avatar weapon. After so many years of crafting dismal braids, I was itching to unleash my full potential again.
Toshiro hoped that with this symbol of strength, he could encourage Mizuki to face his inner demons, to use this mission as a fresh start. Most of all, Toshiro tells Mizuki that curses can be broken. Speaking of broken, seems like a good time for a break. How can curses be broken in Japanese folklore? Good question. There's a couple of ways. You could crawl under the rock at Yasui Kompirago Shrine and put your wish on the rock.
Fun fact, this shrine, Yasui Konpiragu, was created from a vision that Emperor Sutoku, that scary ghost I talked about before, he inspired a monk to restore the shrine to its former glory. And now, Emperor Sutoku's body is enshrined as a god at this very temple. So if you want to get uncursed, you could try going through this ritual. Want to do the ritual? Here's how you do it, straight from the official Yasui Konpiragu website, because it's 4 p.m. and I don't want to write how to do this myself.
To make your own prayer, first, pay your respects before the main inner sanctuary. Next, write down your wish, such as relations you want to break off. Or, alternatively, you wish to initiate on the Katashiro substitution charm. Then, with your Katashiro charm in hand, go from the front to the back of the monument through the hole, reciting the wish in your mind. Finally, stick the Katashiro charm into the stone monument.
Sorry. If the word Katashiro sounds familiar, it's because it's literally in Mizuki's kit. His shift is called Katashiro Return. Katashiro translates to form substitution, or effigy. They usually are paper, human-shaped dolls that act as substitutions for a real person. For example, people transfer their sins from their bodies onto the Katashiro, then burn or throw away the Katashiro to destroy the sins for good. If you're suffering bad luck recently, you can keep a Katashiro on your person to take the bad luck for you. If you suspect you're about to get cursed, keep a Katashiro on you to absorb the curse in your stead. Mizuki's kit references this in a fun way by making it that you place down a Katashiro upon using the ability, go out and put yourself in a risky position, and then if you get in danger, you can teleport back to the Katashiro. It's almost like the Katashiro absorbs whatever danger you're about to be in, just like how it works traditionally. Back to breaking curses, you could also try using an ofuda, a blessed paper talisman, or be exorcised by a Shinto priest. Sound familiar? That's where we get to Kiriko, a shrine maiden who uses ofuda to heal. See, these two are right about to meet. Mizuki offers up his help to the yokai, and they welcome him with open arms, completely oblivious that he's been planning to act as a double agent for their sworn enemy, the Hashimoto clan. Mizuki's been hiding in plain sight this whole time. See that turtle man in Kiriko's first appearance? That's Mizuki. The enemies in Kiriko's cinematic? Those are Mizuki's co-workers. But the yokai, a gang that Mizuki has been raised to hate, they don't seem so bad. They show no suspicion to Mizuki. Some might call that naive, and you know, if you're in a gang war, it kinda is naive, but others might call that acceptance, something Mizuki has been denied his whole life. With Hashimoto, all the love he's gotten has been transactional. He knows if he fails, he'll be worthless to them, thrown out, or worse. The yokai are different. For Mizuki, the yokai act as a real family for him. What are yokai, you ask? What makes Mizuki one of them? This all has to do with Japanese folklore. Are you folklore ready? For his early days in the yokai, he wears this costume from Kiriko's trailer. His outfit is inspired by kappa. First and foremost, kappa are yokai, a diverse umbrella term for supernatural beings in Japanese folklore. Onryo, the vengeful cursed spirits we talked about before, count as yokai. Kitsune, the fox spirit that Kiriko communes with, also counts as yokai. It goes without saying then that all kids in the yokai gang are inspired by real yokai, and Mizuki is no exception to this with his clear connection to the kappa. Kappa are gremlin-sized, water-side trickster spirits with a turtle-like appearance. Their most distinctive feature is a bowl, a sara, in the middle of their head filled with water. This is like a Charmander's tail in Pokemon. The bowl must always be filled with water, and if it's ever to spill, it kinda ends the kappa, or at least weakens them. Anyway, there's a lot of inspiration that Mizuki's character draws from kappa. They usually live solitary lives, but sometimes they'll join a family, a group of other yokai, which is exactly what Mizuki does. He joins a gang called the yokai. Kappa have extendable, retractable arms, which is where his binding chain comes from. Kappa like to play games of skill like shogi. Most of all, they never break a promise, the same way Mizuki refuses to break any of his oaths to the curse. Really, a kappa's honor is the only way to defeat them. They're 3 times as strong as a human, but they can be outsmarted. It's said that if you ever encounter a kappa, you can bait its sense of honor by bowing, because it will be forced to return your bow even lower. Then, you just have to keep bowing lower and lower until it finally bows so low that the water on its head spills out, weakening it. This last part, an overcommitment to honor threatening the death of you, is where Mizuki's at in the Overwatch story right now. Just like how Kappa joined families of other yokai, Mizuki has been welcomed with open arms into Kiriko's gang. Nobody in the gang is suspicious of him. In fact, they're treating him like a friend. Noboru made his hat, Sakura exchanges intel with him, Kiriko buys him donuts, prays for him, teases him.
Tell Ryota to stop tagging on Hashimoto turf. If they catch him, he's screwed.
Mizuki, you're actually a huge softie, aren't you?
Quit messing around. Don't you know what they do to people that piss them off?
Relax, I'll talk to him. It's just funny you try to hide how much you care. Chikasa said she couldn't get a hold of you.
If I told you, I'd have to kill you.
Ugh, Can't you answer normally for once?
Nah, I like making you mad.
They almost act like siblings, which they kind of are since they were both raised by Toshiro. Mizuki toes the line of a double agent with grace and precision, absolutely effortless. Or is it? This is where it all gets interesting. When Mizuki released, there was a lot of hubbub about his voice sounding cringe. His voice sounded like an e-boy.
Because he does give off nonchalant Discord e-boy.
Not that it matters to me, but try not to hurt yourselves out there.
Do you hear that? Do you hear what I mean? I don't like it. It's so cringy.
What makes a voice cringe? What makes a voice sound like you're an e-boy?
You wanna know what the answer to both is, baby girl?
Forced charm.
Thanks for playing, Ray. And you can make it up by playing with me more, because I enjoy playing with you, so you don't have to apologize for anything. Don't even worry about it. Thanks for playing. Let's play more soon. I hope. What? Well, I mean, honestly, I don't really keep track.
Every time I play with you, you have a positive kill-death ratio.
That's because I sweat extra hard because I want you to think I'm cool or something, you know?
If forced charm makes you uncomfortable, you found the genius of Mizuki's voice direction. When you hear a Valorant e-boy talk like this, a subconscious alarm goes off in your brain that says, this person isn't speaking with good intentions because this isn't actually how they sound. This is why Mizuki's voice direction is such effective storytelling. It's diegetic, which is to say, both you and the cast of this game are experiencing the same feeling. If we consider our cringe for a moment to be a bad gut feeling, our instincts telling us something isn't right, that we don't trust Mizuki, there are several other characters who say the same thing. They don't trust him either.
Your friends might be fooled by your little act, but I know a liar when I see one.
I'm not lying. Just not telling the whole truth.
Sure, whatever helps you sleep at night.
I hear you moved to Kanezaka fairly recently.
Yeah, I was just looking for a change of pace.
For one not from there, you are quite invested in local matters.
What can I say? Hard not to get attached to such a beautiful place. Not sure Hanzo likes me much.
Don't take it personal. He thinks everyone's suspicious.
Oh, but I'm such a stand-up guy. You trust me, right?
Not when you say it like that.
All this suspicion is for a good reason. Mizuki hasn't been telling the truth with everyone. This voice he speaks with, he's wearing a mask. How do I know? Because in certain points, the mask will slip.
Am I being punished?
When Mizuki eliminates Kiriko, he obsesses over the weight of what he just did.
Do I even deserve your forgiveness? I'm sorry it came to this.
Versus when Kiriko eliminates Mizuki.
So long, bestie.
In general, whenever he makes a mistake, whenever he's eliminated, he'll question whether his mask is still effective.
Why am I showing weakness?
When certain characters eliminate him, he'll ask if they're onto him.
Maybe he's onto me. Did she finally see through me? She knows. No, she shouldn't.
So, what is he hiding? Mental illness. No, first, he's hiding that he's working for the Hashimoto. This creates a vicious cycle of paranoia. By constantly hiding through a disingenuous mask, he loses the trust of those around him, and everyone feels on edge. Because Mizuki can't trust anyone, no one can trust Mizuki either. They'll feel like he's hiding something terrible from them. And because he can sense this feeling, it acts as confirmation that what he's hiding is terrible, even though what he's hiding, they literally have no idea about. It's this terrible, all-consuming cycle. Mizuki copes with this cycle in a very distinct way I'll elaborate on in a moment. I'd argue this is the point of his character. You see, one of my friends recently said to me that they feel like Mizuki doesn't contribute anything to the Overwatch universe. In my opinion, a great character fleshes out something in the fictional world and the real world. Baptiste explores how people in war-torn areas were roped into organizations they might not have agreed with morally just to survive. He explores what it takes to redeem yourself after being a part of something evil only out of survival. That's an aspect of the world of Overwatch he fleshes out, but it also connects to real-world struggles. People in heavily impacted war-torn areas who joined mercenary or rebel groups just to stay alive. Diva explores a girl forced to join her military just to keep her homeland alive, taking on every burden even at an incredibly young age. She explores the mecha squad aspect of Overwatch's Korea, but she also serves as a commentary on Korea's real obligatory military service that forces enlistment at 18 or 19. Overwatch 1 Diva is this exact age of 19. Now, women don't have this obligation of military service in Korea, but you could also argue that Diva explores the great pressure that female celebrities go through in Korea. These are very grounded explorations. They have to be if they connect to the real world. So this is where it gets interesting when you think about Kiriko. Her in-game voice lines in Kit and sheer amount of skins is so controversial that her characterization is rarely talked about. Kiriko is torn between two paths. Her grandma's path of spirituality, connecting with a kitsune, a fox spirit to help heal and guide others, and her mother's path of the blade, discipline and grounded in reality, violence and restraint. Kiriko chooses both, and starts her own gang upon this principle. They worship the spirits of the yokai, channeling their power like her grandma, but also defend their homeland with the cutthroat techniques inherited from her mother. Now, if you don't think about how this connects to the real world too hard, you could be like, this is a lesson about how folk religions of the past and the determination of the youth don't have to be mutually exclusive, you can do both, and that's a pretty sentiment. But Kiriko's folk religion is fucking real. Like, I'm not trying to be rude, I believe in folk religions, but Kiriko can summon a fucking fox, and that's not scientific, that's just actual magic. And if you think about this for any amount of time, or know a thing or two about folk religions in general, and how humans work, it becomes terrifying. Mizuki is the epitome of this terror. You want to know what Mizuki fleshes out in the Overwatch world? He begs the question,
What if you have OCD in a world where folk religion is real?
Obsessive-compulsive disorder, OCD, features a pattern of unwanted thoughts and fears known as obsessions. These obsessions lead you to do repetitive behaviors, also called compulsions. For example, someone might think, I need to touch this doorknob 5 times or else my grandma will get hit by a car. They'll also feel distressed at the thought, and even more distressed if they don't touch the doorknob, obsessing over and over what might happen to their family until they either A, ignore the compulsion, the good ending, or B, act on the compulsion, the classic OCD ending. Folk religions can be very helpful to some people. They help us connect with our cultures and family, but folk religions can also be incredibly triggering for people with OCD because there's a ton of compulsions in these traditions. Remember those techniques for breaking curses I talked about? I need to crawl through a rock and put my prayer on the rock to sever my bad ties. I need to wear a paper doll to absorb people's attempts at cursing me. I need to contact a shrine maiden to use paper charms on me or else I'll stay cursed. This is all classic OCD. OCD usually relies on if-then statements. If I don't wear this paper doll, then I'll get cursed. If I don't pray 20 times exactly, then something bad will happen. Alternatively, if I don't stand under a wave, then the spirits will get mad.
The spirits are breathing down my neck again. Gotta find a waterfall to stand under.
I could make a really big wave.
It's not the same.
If I buy the right charm, then I'll be okay.
Bought another lucky good luck amulet. I have a good feeling about today.
I hope you don't buy those often. Pretty sure they're a scam.
Every week since I got to Kanezaka.
See, this is why you're broke.
If I lose that charm, then I'll be cursed again.
Kiriko, I really need your help.
What's wrong?
I lost this week's lucky good luck amulet.
There. I'll pray for you later.
If I'm near a black cat, then I'll be uncursed.
If only you were a black cat. You could help me ward off evil. Sorry, jeez. You're fine the way you are, okay?
It's a bunch of if-then statements your brain is misfiring, and usually, I found, it's to give you the illusion of control. See, when you grow up in incredibly chaotic circumstances, I think OCD can spawn as a coping mechanism to give you the illusion of control despite all your chaos. If terrible things happen to your family, then your brain might convince itself it has agency over what happens. If you have 2 dogs and one of them dies, your brain might be like, I need to turn the lights off at exactly 9 p.m. every night or else my other dog will die too. But it's just your brain grappling with the innate uncontrollability of life by giving you a lie that you can control everything if you just do the magical secret right thing. But no one can do the magical secret right thing because the magical secret right thing does not exist, right? Well, Overwatch brings up an incredibly terrifying prospect. What if the magical secret right thing actually existed because magic exists? What if all those folk spells, like wearing paper charms to heal you and summoning fox spirits, what if those actually existed? Kiriko's fox spirit actually exists, not as an illusion or as faith, but as an actual thing that she and others can interact with and derive power from. Kiriko's healing ofuda are not nanotech like the other sources of healing in Overwatch. That's a paper charm that flies on the wind. It's folk tales given shape and power. And if some parts of the folklore can be real, that means all parts of the folklore could be real, including the bad parts. including curses. All of Mizuki's family dies under chaotic, confusing, strange circumstances. Remember what I said before? In chaos, your brain comes up with OCD as a coping mechanism to give you the illusion of control. But for Mizuki, is that control really an illusion? Magic is real. If he just did the right things, used the right charms, talked to the right shrine maidens, crawled under the right rocks, could he be free of his curse? If he had figured all this out sooner, could he have saved his family? Is he why they died? All that control, all that blame, suddenly becomes real if there's a possibility for it to be. This is what makes Mizuki such an incredible character to me. In media, I see characters only have one of two polarizing relationships to traditional folklore. You have characters who interact with it in absolute harmony, with complete mastery over it, like Kiriko, Lily from Street Fighter, Sky from Valorant. Their relationship to tradition is peaceful and powerful. There's nothing bad that comes from it. On the other end of the spectrum, you have the traditionalist who needs to learn to reject their religion and eat a hamburger.
This is turkey, and that's pork.
Oh, pork.
Pork, yeah.
I don't think I'm.
You haven't tried it?
No.
Okay.
It's been like a thing that my parents have always told me, like, this is not okay. This is so I'm programmed like this.
Respecting your parents.
Yeah.
That's good. That's okay. Okay.
It's either you have no issues with your traditions or your traditions are stupid and need to be destroyed. There's no room for nuance because when you're an adult, you have to be staunch in whatever belief you're rebelling against. It's either everything to protect your tradition or everything to protect your freedom to be against tradition. But that's not realistic, is it? Mizuki is a real, nuanced approach to tradition. He relies on tradition to help comfort him. His tradition connects him with his only family, the yokai gang. His tradition shapes the way he fights. Everything in his kit is named after tradition. His identity, his kappa persona, is tradition. This is all positive, but at the same time, he's also chained to his traditions in honor. He's so obsessed with trying to break his curse that he's broken himself. So his tradition is marred with compulsions and obsessions, corrupting the positive relation that he could have with it. He's constantly doubting himself with how powerful he thinks this curse and these spirits are in comparison to his measly human defiance. And a character who holds such reverence to tradition, you would picture someone clerical, respectable, but he's not a nun. He's not a shrine maiden. He's rude, cocky, defiant, flirtatious. He acts an opposite to the typical image of a pious man because tradition is only an aspect of his worldview. It isn't the whole thing. Honestly, he's the perfect picture of any kind of Gen Zer attempting tradition. Self-aware enough to know about OCD and anxiety and mental health, but still trying to keep their culture alive. Constantly wearing a mask to seem cool, but riddled with the threat of being cringe, performance, and doubt, the threat of our elders against the threat of losing the connections our age we've made, constantly trying to balance these two sides of ourselves. Speaking of balancing two sides of oneself, Mizuki is heavily implied to be biracial, and this holds a negative connotation in Japan, where only 2% of the population is mixed.
そんなにないけど、話しかけたら、ノーイングリッシュとか言われて。
When I tell people I'm Japanese, a lot of time like, 日本人の字薄いよね。
Most shocking story I ever heard, she said that some kids put staples in her sandwich.
小学校の頃はなんか名字のことで
An unfortunate hafu, because you're supposed to look really perfect.
泣いちゃった時もあって、もうなんでこんな名字なんだろう、ハーフ嫌だなみたいな。めっちゃ日本人に生まれたかったって思った時もあったし、日本人の顔になりたいって思ったこともありました。
I would argue that this biracial aspect of his character is crucial too. Being seen as scary, being seen as an outsider, and feeling like your identity is a curse. This is at the core of Mizuki's character, but as you can see, it's also at the core of the biracial experience. Being in a primarily mono-ethnic country makes it even worse. When everyone looks one way and you don't, it's a curse. One you cannot break, no matter how hard you try. Mizuki is constantly pretending to be something he's not. He is constantly acting out a farce to fit into the two worlds he lives in, the Hashimoto and the yokai. Is there anything more biracial than that? In a way, folklore being real in Overwatch paints a perfect metaphor. Let me explain. When you have OCD, there is this great shame attached to it. You probably haven't heard OCD explained to the depth that I have, and that's for a reason. We aren't telling our stories and nobody's telling it for us. Because when you're ashamed about something that's only happening inside your head, the natural course of action is, if I keep this a secret inside my head, maybe I'll forget about it eventually. Maybe it'll go away. But all that while that you hide it, you're carrying a shame within you, a fear that deep down, you have something wrong with you. It sounds kind of bad, right?
Well, imagine for a second that you live in an environment where you don't look like everyone else. That deep fear within you is at all times being reinforced. You carry a burden that there is something wrong with you, but the world says back, yeah, there is something wrong with you. I can see it on your face.
Like in my corporate, like they've said things like you look like a mafia とかさ、こう like 夜中に見たら怖い。
来られちゃって、なんかあいつやばいやつだみたいな。
The biracial man in an ethno-state is folklore made manifest. He is scary because people are scared.
And so, he is scared of himself. From this experience, OCD propagates, festers, and bleeds. That is Mizuki.
Thing is, he's not the only one with this experience of being an outsider. There's a character crucial to Mizuki I haven't touched on much yet, and the relationship between these two pushes his character arc to a climax. Let me set the scene. The yokai are now working in cooperation with Overwatch, and the Hashimoto have been working with Talon. Genji, the guy I talked about for a solid 1 second earlier, has been captured by the Hashimoto, held prisoner specifically by a Hashimoto elder, Shion. Shion is a Japanese word meaning aster flower. Wait, no, different character. Shion means death grudge, and boy does she have one. Her name is composed of 2 characters. Shi, meaning death, death penalty, or 4, a very unlucky number in East Asian superstition. The second character is On, which means grudge. The interesting thing is that this character, On, is the first character of the ghosts we talked about before, On Ryo, which means that Shion's name is literally Mizuki's worst fears combined. Unlucky superstitions of death, vengeance, and ghosts. Surely she can't be all bad, right?
Hello. You're powered up. Get in there.
Okay, what is Shion exactly? First off, Shion is an Omnic. As a brief summary, Omnics in Overwatch are enlightened robots like Warforged from D&D. Omnics gain sentience after one of their kind, Aurora, achieved a very Buddhist enlightenment and subsequently dies to give all Omnics sentience. But because Omnics are robots, they're discriminated against since there was a bad robot uprising in Overwatch's history. Now because some robots are bad, humans think all robots are all bad. The worst part is that while most marginalized groups can repopulate, Omnics are a single generation. There can be no more enlightened Omnics because Aurora was sort of a lightning in a bottle situation. Every time an Omnic dies, that's one less Omnic forever. It's a genuinely chilling thought that with every act of bigotry, there is a permanent, irreversible step closer to the complete extinction of your people. Shion is a bold departure from the characterization of Ramattra and Zenyatta, arguably the 2 most important Omnic characters in Overwatch. Their experiences with bigotry inspire selflessness. Ram and Zen fight for their people, but Shion fights only for herself. She embodies a singular philosophy. Selflessness is a luxury not afforded to Omnics. Selfishness is her form of protest. She is a clan elder amongst the Hashimoto who fight tooth and nail, get it, for control over Tokyo, all in order to extract as much money from the region as possible, all to give Shion the most money she can leech from her region. And just like Mizuki, her region is very important to her character. Zen and Ram both grow up in Nepal at an Omnic monastery where they have a community of people who look and think like them, where they are momentarily shielded from the bigotry of the outside world and can find brotherhood. Omnics were originally made for labor and shipped all over the world. A lucky few were able to leave their jobs and find community in Nepal, but not necessarily all Omnics. Shion is one of these Omnics. Little known fact we only know after the release of Shion, the Hashimoto gang started as a human supremacist movement in Tokyo during the chaos of the Omnic crisis. When the awakening happened, that is, when Aurora spread her enlightenment to give all Omnics sentience, Shion was in the middle of one of these turf wars. In other parts of the world, the awakening caused everyone to band together, human and Omnic, to recover from the crisis. In Tokyo, however, the Hashimoto took advantage of the chaos to purge as many of the newly sentient Omnics as possible. To aid the pursuit of this goal, the Hashimoto took Shion prisoner to learn the fighting techniques of an Omnic at their demand. Shion pulled her punches though, learning the strategies of her captors until one day she used all the fighting that she had learned to take out her wardens. The ones afraid of her, she made them the new Hashimoto elders, and the gang from this day on has been held under her metal thumb. Even though she's found her own form of power, it's hollow. Any day now, if the Hashimoto gain the upper hand, she'll lose everything. She's not like Zenyatta or Ramattra. She never had the privilege of leaving and finding other people who look like her. Even though she was born and made for Japan, she still doesn't look Japanese. She's a robot. She's an outsider. She's just like Mizuki. Except unlike Mizuki, Shion is completely alone. Despite this, Shion sees herself in Mizuki and decides to take him into the Hashimoto as a child after the death of his father. She trains him and hones his fighting with the threat that there is no mercy afforded to the weak and different. She also uses his bond to Toshiro as a threat to keep him making anima avatar weapons, the giver weapons for the Hashimoto gang.
Toshiro, I thought you could use some motivation. Pick up the pace, or Mizuki here will pay the price.
Welcome, Mizuki. She said it was a message. That if you don't work faster, she'll take my arm for real.
Do you remember that extendable chain arm he has? She's the reason he has that. She cut off his arm as a punishment to both him and Toshiro.
You've earned that, Obake-kun. Survived everything I've thrown at you and refused to break.
She calls him Obake-kun. I have to explain another thing!
In this context, Obake is a yokai who shapeshifts into a human, but is truly a different form. Shion is making this reference to indicate that, in the same way that she's an omnic who wears a human face, he's like a kappa who deceives others that is human. Most importantly, it's her muddying the boundary between folklore and reality for him. It's Shion reaffirming Mizuki's worst fear. He's a monster. He's cursed. In general, we got the impression that the Hashimoto are using and abusing Mizuki in a very one-sided relationship. But that's like how gangs work, so that's fine. However, after this comic, the Hashimoto are still absolutely using him, yeah, but he also has a uniquely draining relationship with Shion specifically.
I don't understand, Toshiro-oji-san. She can be so cruel, but at the same time, I know she just wants me to be better. She cares about me, doesn't she?
He's defending her here, even after she willfully mutilates him. He's saying she cares about him. I think they formed a sort of parasitic, abusive relationship. In a good relationship, Shion and Mizuki can bond over mutual respect, and their shared experience as outsiders in a place where everyone looks different than them. We might be outsiders, but we're outsiders together. Instead, Shion takes that last part and goes, there is no we. We're not outsiders. I am an outsider, and you look like me. So I will shape you into what I am, something strong and cruel enough to survive, so that I can see myself in you, and so that you can be of use to me. In this way, Mizuki's trust issues with the yokai make a lot more sense now. For his entire life, he's had one woman who basically extracts everything useful from him under the threat of life and limbs. How could he ever trust Kiriko? How could they ever bond over similar experiences when sharing a similar pain with someone made him a target for their abuse? How could he ever be expected to share how he feels about his curse with someone when sharing his curse plunged him even deeper into it? Well, we do get an answer. Enough of the background. Genji has been captured by the Hashimoto clan, and Overwatch, after a lot of convincing from Kiriko, decide to dispatch the yokai to get him back. And Mizuki, a double agent, decides to still help them? Why? Kiriko tells him during the mission this isn't just about getting back Genji. This could be their one chance to free Toshiro from the Hashimoto. So, Mizuki accepts. Kiriko might not know it, but Toshiro isn't just her father. He's Mizuki's too. And for everything Toshiro has done for him, for everything the yokai have done for him, it's time to pay them all back. Mizuki walks straight into the Hashimoto stronghold, as far as he can go, until he finds his boss, Shion. She's happy to see him, but very skeptical. Lately, he hasn't been sending intel back to the Hashimoto. He hasn't been doing a very good job of being a double agent. In fact, she's heard rumors he's gone full yokai. She tells him all she's invested into him, all she's done for him.
Now, tell me something that shows you were worth the effort. When you brought me here, you told me the only way to free myself of my family's ghosts was to become like you. Ruthless. Hard. You kept me isolated. Tried to make sure you were all I had. But you made one mistake. You let someone else show me there was good in me. That I'm not alone. That I'm more than a weapon. So, it's true. You've betrayed me! You think you can double-cross me? What would you be without me? Your mother and father chose to die over caring for you. I'll make you envy their deaths. One taste of freedom, and you forget who made you! All my life, you did everything you could to keep me afraid. Swore you were the only one who could protect me. But you never cared about me. I was a weapon you could aim. How many people have I heard in your name? That Kusarigama, Toshiro forged you a weapon. I'll bury you with it! You're mine! I am my own!
In this moment, Mizuki's core conflict has completely shifted. Remember how I said trying to break the curse keeps him cursed? Accepting his curse in this moment and turning his sights on an issue he can actually solve shows growth. What's his real issue? It's the people and traditions he chooses to surround himself with. The yokai accept him as he is. They don't use him. Kiriko never wants to put him in harm's way, and it shows. The Hashimoto, but more than that, Shion, doesn't see him as a real person. I don't even think she sees him as a weapon like they say. Shion sees him as an extension of herself. At least a tool is separate from the person who holds it. Shion doesn't give him that luxury. When Mizuki confronts her, she dumps all this trauma onto him.
All your training, it wasn't as powerful as the kindness shown to me by those who had nothing to gain. Kindness? You mean weakness? This world showed me nothing but hate. I showed you kindness. I made you strong! You think those children are your friends? What would they think of you when they find out what you've done? Who will accept you when they learn the truth? You lied to them! You betrayed them! Just as you betrayed me! You think they'll still be kind to you? I saved you! I made you! You're mine!
And I've talked at length for like 30 minutes about all the problems Mizuki has. He has enough, and for once in his entire life, Mizuki makes a good decision.
You're right. I'm who I am now because of you. And for that... Mizuki, are you there? We've got Genji. Heading to the forge now. I thank you. Mizuki! I was not allowed to write the beginning of my story. Lady Shion, I know this isn't a good time, but that Shimada you had locked up is missing. And the elders are looking for you. Bring me Mizuki! But I will write the rest.
Mizuki decides to choose himself and the people who are good for him. Mizuki has sided fully with the yokai and chose to leave Shion behind. Well, in the traditional sense at least. Mentally, I'd argue they're still very much enmeshed. How do I know? Come on, man, let's look at the trauma files.
Is something wrong, Obake-kun? You look nervous.
Why do you care?
I will always care about you. Have I not made that clear?
You have.
Whatever they've told you about me, Mizuki, it isn't true.
No one said anything. I'm just seeing you for what you are.
What I am? You mean a bot? An empty killing machine?
I didn't mean... I'm sorry.
How dare you turn your back on me? Don't you remember what happens to those who step out of line?
Trust me, I couldn't forget if I tried.
Those silly yokai didn't change you that much. Deep down, you're the same cursed boy.
You don't know that.
Of course I do. No one knows you better, Mizuki. I hate to think of what misfortune you'll bring your new friends. All because you exist.
Shut up.
Poor Obake-kun. Once a cursed demon child, always a cursed demon child.
I said, shut up!
Like I said, Mizuki and Shion, these two are enmeshed. It's a type of dynamic when, in this case, a mother and son's emotional closeness and reliance, it blurs or destroys personal boundaries. Shion doesn't respect any of Mizuki's personal boundaries. When he leaves, she crumbles. But for Mizuki, I don't think he'll do the same. This is the end of one character arc for Mizuki, and it's an interesting one, because like I hoped, he has not broken his curse. Instead, he's broken the bonds with the people who exploit it. People who exploit his curse and exploit him. People who reaffirm the worst parts of him. I think it's a very valuable lesson. His character revolves around his attempts to make changes in his life with no meaning or outcome. Lucky good luck amulets, black cats, they give him solace, but make no actual changes in his life. They'll never break his curse because nothing will. But surrounding himself with friends like Kiriko and Toshiro, surrounding himself with folklore he chooses, the yokai, gives him family. So, if Mizuki's lore can inspire you to do anything, I hope it'll be this. Surround yourself with good people and good folklore. It can do a lot. Thank you for watching. I would like to proudly announce I'll be holding my first stream here on YouTube very soon. I'll probably be playing Overwatch, Honkai Star Rail, and Genshin Impact. plus chatting with you lovely viewers and answering any questions you might have. I just got to 2K subscribers from that last video, and I wanted to thank you so much for every comment and watch. I really, really appreciate it. But most of all, I'd like to thank you for watching something that is so personal to me. My goal as a creator is to talk about the stories that I like and to view them through lenses I think are important. I hope that if you resonated with any of the things I talked about, you would know that you're not alone. And as always, خسته نباشید. بسلامة.